Hey everybody, welcome to inconsistent week of PTOM Theater.
It's been what, like 4 weeks?
It's been a little while.
Like
no,
a month?
you guys did a Thanksgiving video.
One, right.
You did the Skyrim.
Lol Khajiit.
Right, which is very clever.
Because
it's like lolcat.
Right.
But in
Except
Skyrim,
Khajiit.
I see what you did there. Very clever. So this is our comeback video. We're gonna try to be a little more consistent about this. We've just had a bit of a crazy time, but we're back. And this week we're gonna talk to you a little bit about Final Fantasy XIII-2, which is a confusing title.
Yes. Well, we all know you're very, very much anticipating the next installment in the Final Fantasy franchise, and
it is a Final Fantasy game.
I have been playing it for a while now.
He has.
So
I haven't, but Ryan has. So I'm gonna sit here and ask some questions about it. In fact, I think you've compiled your top 3 reasons why Final Fantasy XIII-2 could potentially be better than Final Fantasy XIII.
I think it's got a lot of potential, and there's a very obvious elephant in the room: linearity. Everybody seemed to attack that about 13.
Right.
But which
tubular.
It's a very tubular future.
Totally tubular.
But it kind of I feel like maybe those attacks were misguided, just because in terms of what Final Fantasy really is, most of the games have been pretty linear. It's just like 13 made it so painfully obvious that you're just traveling down this hallway the entire game, basically.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, how like basically all 13 did was eliminate the overworld.
The world map.
Yeah, the world map where you could wander around between missions and things like that.
And there were no towns.
And while it's true that there was usually only, there was a next step in the story in some place you were supposed to go, I think having that moment, that breather time between missions and that illusion of freedom, I think that was actually a lot for people. That
it
meant
was
a lot.
Absolutely, especially since 13 was like a nonstop barrage of action. But transitioning into 13-2, I think a lot of people will be pleased to see that it is a bit more open this time around. There's still no world map, but the levels themselves are a lot more open and lend themselves to a little bit of exploration that didn't exist in 13. So
yeah, because I think that really the problem with 13 wasn't so much that it was linear, but that it was so transparently linear that it felt like you were just being led by the hand through this series of missions. Like, people need at least the illusion of freedom to feel like they're accomplishing something, I think.
Linearity plus Vanille's voice. Oh my god, the screeching, like, high pitchiness of that still haunts my dreams.
Yeah, well,
she's really obnoxious.
At least she's not in 13-2.
Well, you're right. And that's kind of point number 2. The characters this time are awesome. They are very, very well fleshed out, and I'd say even they're the best that we've seen in the franchise since at least like Final Fantasy 9 to 10. Like, they're
That's a pretty big claim.
Really good.
Dude, the characters in 9 were awesome. Yeah. That might be, story-wise, that might actually be my favorite of the Final Fantasies.
Yeah, that was a good one. And the characters, so we're playing mainly as Sarah this time around, Lightning's sister. She's looking for Lightning, who's kind of just disappeared from the current timeline. This game's all about time travel, and it's kind of confusing at first. Yeah,
because Lightning's not dead. She's just
in an alternate dimension thing.
Where she's because time.
Yeah, because time. And And then there's Noel.
Sure.
And that guy's actually really cool. He's got his little moments where he's kind of a little bit whiny. And of course there's lots of
it's a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah. There's all kinds of talk about the fate of the world, which is funny because at first, like when we saw that Saints Row video.
Right, yes. For those of you who are not familiar, there's Games Radar made an excellent Saints Row kind of commercial video thing that's really hilarious, and it contains a bunch of video game characters that are sort of parodies of classic characters. Right. One of whom is a fake Final Fantasy character played by our very own Ann Lewis, and her line in the thing is just she's just muttering to herself,
"The fate of the world,"
and then she goes, "Oh, the fate of the world." So yeah, literally, it sounds like a joke. It sounds like parody, but apparently they actually do talk a lot about.
They do say that line a couple times. But Noel, Sarah, they're both very good, and the villain Caius is awesome. He's a complete world-ending badass. So you get to fight him a couple times.
Always good. Always good.
So yeah, I think people will be looking forward to that, and of course,
point number 3.
Point 3, the story. All right, I know a lot of people may disagree with me, but 13's story was pretty much impossible to follow. It very frequently made little sense to me. Maybe I'm just not a super intelligent person, but I think.
I didn't want to say anything, but
I just totally set myself up for that.
A little bit.
Anyways, the story's great, and by the time the credits roll, it's actually pretty fully fleshed out. Like, they go through a lot to make sure you understand what's going on.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Can you get like a Cliff Notes guide? Can you get like the
time travel? You gotta save the timeline, save the world.
Cool.
Save Lightning.
That's pretty straightforward.
It is.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Time.
Yes. Fate of the world.
Time's on your side. There's so many good time jokes to make. I think we covered it though. I think that was all 3, right? We got 3 points in there.
Yes.
We only
Not
promised
as linear,
3.
better characters, and a story that makes sense.
Hey,
All
too
right.
long, didn't listen. So yeah, I think that'll pretty much do it for this week
Yes.
then.
Oh, we also have some Final Fantasy VI PSN codes to give out. So,
Woo, yeah, speaking of Final
if
Fantasy,
you want to win one, comment in the comments section, or
that is generally where you comment on
yes.
things, yes.
or get in touch with us on Facebook or Twitter, and I don't know, talk about Final Fantasy.
Or something.
And then
Just
we'll
do
pick
it.
some winners
Just like us
at
on
random.
Facebook and leave comments and stuff, and we'll probably give you
Absolutely.
a code, maybe.
And then we'll catch you guys next week.
Next week. Yeah.
You shall pay for your crimes in blood.
What was that?